TNA Wrestling crossed the line again as we are just a few hours away from Turning Point 2024. But this TNA Impact was a special Thanksgiving episode, not a quote unquote live episode, but episodes of a list of matches never before seen in 2024, including a casket match. Yes, indeed. But do not forget to watch TNA Wrestling on the TNA Plus app. Get it downloaded, get subscribed, especially as some of you, or quite a lot of you, will be saving $9.99 a month coming up from January. So guys in the UK that are spending that on another wrestling program could well be going towards the TNA Plus app to get your weekly TNA Impact and pay-per-views and all action from the vault, funnily enough. But today we're going to go with the first match that aired in Nashville in October. Never before seen. Sami Callihan, PCO, and the man that we all believe in, Joe Hendry, took on the system of Moose, Eddie Edwards, and Johnny Dango Curtis. And this match was a fun six-man tag team match that you're always going to get with these guys in there. Sami Callihan, he is one crazy MFer. And speaking of crazy MFers, they don't come much crazier than PCO. And the man, obviously, like I said, that we all believe, Joe Hendry. Really fun six-man tag, the usual stuff happening, the system being the system as they are as well. But the end of this match, and it kind of ends in a way that a normal triple threat match, oh sorry, a normal triple threat tag team match would be end. Callihan hit the cactus driver on Eddie Edwards in stereo with PCO hitting the choke slam on JDC, and then Joe Hendry hit the ring with the standing ovation on Eddie Edwards to get the pin for the win. Interestingly enough, Moose did not get the pin, but was involved in any of the finish. But a fun six-man tag that we had on there. It was a brilliant one. But this coming week, obviously, turning point. Moose defends the newly won X Division Championship against Laredo Kid. And of course, Joe Hendry is involved in the Turkey Bowl match. Interesting to see where that one ends up. But maybe the system's Brian Myers will be the one wearing the Turkey Bowl tonight, as we would say over here. It's going to be airing tonight, tomorrow morning on TNA Plus. So check that out. Knockouts Championship action, and this was taped way back in June in Philadelphia when Jordynne Grace was the Knockouts champion. She defeated England's own Dani Luna. It was quite interesting because Jordynne Grace didn't come out with the belt against Dani Luna on this one. But this was a hard-hitting, entertaining match, and it showcased how good Dani Luna actually is. Now, a lot of you obviously see her in a tag with Spitfire. You don't really see much. She's been doing a bit of singles here and there for TNA. We don't get to see her as much as a single at the moment, but she went toe to toe with one of the best knockouts. Well, not even one of the best knockouts, one of the best women in the world right now. And Dani Luna put in a hell of a show against Jordynne Grace. She done brilliantly in the match, but she did, of course, come up a little bit short with the Juggernaut driver, picking up the victory for Jordynne Grace. Now, of course, Jordynne Grace has a chance at redemption tonight when she takes on the X Division champion Masha Slamovich in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the knockouts. So, I mean, we were talking match of the year contenders recently at TNA. This one has all the makings of a match of the year contender. Jordynne Grace, Masha Slamovich, par 4 maybe, but a 2 out of 3 falls match. It should be fantastic. We obviously know that Contracts are coming up with Jordynne Grace as well. She may or may not be with TNA come the January time, maybe come the time of Royal Rumble, of course, in February. So, you know, lots of people are expecting Masha to retain the Knockouts Championship. Who knows? But in terms of this was a great showcase for Dani Luna. I really, really did enjoy seeing her one-on-one with Jordynne Grace coming up against one of the best in the world and not looking out of place. The future is very bright for Dani Luna indeed, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what is next for her. We'll run down, of course, the turning point card at the end of this. So we're looking forward to doing it. I'll do some predictions as well. They then had a really funny skit. There was Callihan, there was PCO, there was Brookside, there was Hotch, there was Skylar. There was sitting down having the Death Machine poker tournament and eating some Thanksgiving-esque dinner. PCO won the pot, which included pushing some of his chips and food into the middle of the table. The win did please everyone, barring a few individuals, thus being Skylar and Hotch, which was quite funny. Yeah, and it led to a lot of arguing in there. And Morella has booked a match for this coming Thursday on Impact, which we will see, of course, this week, which I'm looking forward to very much as we do. And of course, the pie to the face. You couldn't end up without any pie to the face. As of course it always does, you never work with wrestlers and food. They do not mix. What people that did mix was the next match, and it was quite a quick match actually. It was about 6 minutes long. It was Mustafa Ali, Leon Slater, and Trent Seven in a triple threat match. Again, this was back in June in Philadelphia. Anytime you see Leon Slater in the ring, you just have to sit back and enjoy the ride. And it was a quick ride, 6 or 7 minutes was a very, I want to see Slater in a 60-minute match. And quite actually, Leon Slater will indeed be in a 60-minute match over at Revolution Pro Wrestling in just a few short weeks' time against Spanish sensation Zozoya. Funny enough, TNA, if you are looking for some really great talent, I've just named Zozoya as a man that you need to start looking at. But Leon Slater will be in action over there. But Leon and Trent Seven, Trent Seven. We also know that Trent Seven has recently turned on former tag partner, former TNA roster member, Speedball Mike Bailey. So, we know what Trent Seven's like in these types of matches. But however, this was a match that Mustafa Ali did, picking up the win, stealing the pin on Seven after Slater had hit a Swanton bomb, or the Swanton 450 on Seven. Ali doing what Ali does best. And of course, they was finding a way of being victorious, which he did throughout his X Division reign in TNA. I really do hope, though, that it's not not the last we see of Ali. I would like to hopefully see more of him in TNA. We will get to some contract news, some exciting contract news as well before we hit the predictions for Turning Point. But Leon Slater is an absolute star. Trent Seven we actually went back to Progress this last couple of weeks or so, actually. Very, very good to see Trent back in Progress as well. And, we will see what happens when it comes to Trent in TNA, obviously turning on Mike Bailey, as we said. So we'll see what the future holds for him. Leon Slater, the future for him is as bright as the sun. Any TNA member that we speak to on this channel, when we mention Leon Slater, they tell you how much of a star he is going to be, and there is no question of that for sure. But again, we'd like to see Ali back, and Trent Seven, well, we'll see what happens with him in the coming weeks on TNA Wrestling. Now, another guy, and talking to Speedball Bailey, actually, two guys that we've had the privilege of interviewing on the channel was actually next. It was Jake something, and he was actually with Hammerstone at this point, and he was going against Speedball Bailey. And now this was from October. this match in Nashville, Tennessee. And the thing is about these two is Jake Something and Speedball Bailey have really shared the ring quite frequently over the last couple of years in TNA and Deadlock Pro, in Deadlock Pro Wrestling, as well as other promotions. And we always say Speedball Bailey, and he's going to be missed in TNA. And this match was a real match where you saw the best of Speedball Bailey in a lot of sense. In this, and the kicks that Speedball Bailey does, and he's just that, has got everything about him. He's got that speedball. He's got the kicks. He's got everything that you would want in a great ground and pound style wrestler that can also go and fly high. I do know that a lot of AEW fans were actually quite annoyed that he didn't become part of the Continental Classic this year. They were hoping that Mike Bailey would be in that, but obviously contractually not possible. And I know a lot of people that were quite disappointed by that. However, Jake Something in this match does pick up the victory, and it was because really a lot of this was to do with the presence of Hammerstone at ringside, and as Speedball Bailey was going to pick up the top or going to the top rope to finish the match, Hammerstone shoved him from behind. And as Bailey recovered and he went for his spinning kick, he ran into an almighty elbow forearm from Something, and that gave the big man the victory in this. And you know, a great Jake Something has got a big future ahead of him. We know when we interviewed him, he was going for the X Division Championship actually at the time. And he's had a few X Division, I think he's had 3 X Division matches and 3 unfortunate defeats. But I don't think those defeats would hurt him enough. I think in the future, we will see a lot more from Jake Something, and championships is definitely on the horizon for Jake Something. And of course, we miss Mustafa Ali. The best of luck. Looking more likely he's going to AEW next year. So we'll look forward to seeing what he does there. Now, for the second time tonight, we have to believe because it was again Joe Hendry. He was teaming with the TNA Hall of Famer, ECW legend Rhino, and they were going against, quite frankly, one of the most up and coming teams, maybe the teams that go under the radar a lot, especially since they got together. First Class, AJ Francis, KC Navarro. This match was taped just a few short weeks ago. I can't wax lyric. Every time we talk about AJ and Casey Navarro, they're just two great talents, and they work so well together. Obviously, Casey Navarro coming in for Rich Swann as part of First Class a few short months ago. He has adapted to life in TNA fantastically. AJ Francis, I've waxed lyrical about him nearly every week and about how we see the character, we see the improvements in what he does because he's on TV weekly with TNA and not just a 60-second spot. He's doing promos, matches regularly, and you can tell that he's enjoying it. You can tell he's having a good time, and you can tell that he's really adapted to life just as well as Casey Navarro has in TNA. And Casey Navarro is going to be one of the best talents that TNA have got, and they will really want to keep hold of him. Yeah, we're talking about someone that perhaps could replace Speedball Bailey. There's your man. You know, there is the man that can do it. Casey Navarro is more than capable of doing that. With AJ Francis, the sky is really the limit for First Class, but not in this match. No, the end of this match was and again, it was a good little back and forth, good fun tag team match. You know, a little bit of stalling from, Casey and AJ in this as well as part of First Class. Great to see Rhino get in the ring again. And the end of this match was when an almighty gore from Rhino to AJ Francis, and then Henry caught Casey Navarro with the standing ovation for the victory. And as I said, a real fun tag team match. It was great to see. And again, these matches not aired before in 2024. So it's good that, like, what I do like about that actually, and one of the things that I was going to mention at the end of the last match just now is sometimes when, like, other wrestling companies do a sort of special show because they've not taped it's usually a best of, or it's matches that we've already seen before. with the fact that TNA have done these lists of matches and they've waited until Thanksgiving to do it or Christmas or something like that, and then we still get to see an episode of TNA that we haven't seen before, albeit matches that were taped throughout the year, I think it's great. And but actually personally, the people at WWE and AEW could learn from that. Why don't they do like these dark matches that they do every now and again, make them a bit special, and then put them together and air them as a show that matches that you didn't see in 2024. TNA have stolen March again by doing this. And I think it's fantastic that TNA have done this because on weeks like this, weeks like Christmas, perhaps when they don't have shows, to do something like this is brilliant because it still gives us a bit of freshness. All right, we know they were taped some time ago, but we get a bit of freshness in the fact that we don't actually know who wins. We haven't seen them before. It's a real fun thing to do when they're not showing episodes of Impact Wrestling. So kudos to TNA for that. Now, the main event, I know we got through quite quickly, but it was a fun show. There wasn't a lot of bits in between. We will get to doing some new contract news and turning point predictions after this. Now, the main event was a casket match. Now, this was filmed this past July in Montreal following Slammiversary. And actually, the casket was used during PCO's entrance during that. So they got the most out of it and they used it again here. And this had a wild, wild start. Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers getting involved immediately, which, of course, guess who comes out for the third time this evening? We believe in Joe Hendry to even the odds a little bit. Alicia Edwards gets involved. He hits a low blow on. She hits a low blow on Hendry, which leads to PCO grabbing her. And he was actually able to move out of the way. So Moose spears Alicia Edwards, and PCO hit a swanton bomb and just casually, simply put Moose into the casket. Actually, it wasn't the main event. I am wrong. Please, I'm looking at my notes right now, and I've got another match involved in this. But anyway, really fun casket match. You know, and this is what I'm saying a minute about how good it is to see these matches that still haven't aired before that TNA just put out there, compile them together and throw it out there as a special show. Really, really good. Yeah, as I say, it was a quick win on this one for PCO, but a fun one at that casket match. Moose, obviously, uh, gets put in the casket, and we've seen him since, so we know he's okay. But the main event was a match in September in San Antonio, Texas. This was TNA World Champion Nick Nemeth and Sami Callihan. This was not only was this a match that hasn't been aired before, it was also a first time ever match. They've never actually fought before up until this point. And it was a real good fun. There was a lot of near falls in this match. You can tell these two are just very experienced in what they do. And we know that Sami Callihan has his own promotion and stuff like that, and you can even see the cogs turning with these two during the match. There were so many near falls in this. It was really, really, really it's actually quite refreshing to see. Like when you see a lot of matches, we've seen that before, and just to see first time ever match, but the chemistry that these two had was like they'd been wrestling each other for years. There was no little off step. Sometimes when you wrestle the first time for someone, you don't quite know how they work. And I know these two are experienced people, so you could probably put them in there very much blind and get them to go and do what they need to do. But sometimes there's the odd misstep or they over or undershoot something. This was pretty much clean, perfect as you could get. A very enjoyable main event, and it did end up with when Sami Callihan was charging at Nick Nemeth, he hits the super kick and then the danger zone for the victory. But again, the whole of this episode was just fun. It was really, really fun. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I love the fact, as I said, and I've said this a lot of times during the show, I've really loved the fact that these were matches that they've aired a show where you'd get a best of, but instead of that, they aired matches that you've never seen before in 2024 that they taped for a special occasion. Thought that was fantastic. So kudos to TNA for that. Now, some really good news for TNA, contract news on the horizon the tag team champions, the Hardys, who have actually been working on just a per appearance handshake deal, have signed a 1 year contract for TNA. So we'll be seeing the Hardys all the way through 2025 in TNA. I think that is absolutely brilliant news for TNA. It's brilliant for the Hardys as well. They have had a great run so far, a bit of a redemption run, so to speak, for Matt and Jeff Hardy here after things not working out in TNA, in AEW, sorry. I think this is brilliant news. And, you know, for the fans of TNA, like myself and a lot of other people, to see those two inked throughout 2025 is a huge, huge plus. So fantastic news. Congratulations to the Hardys and congratulations to TNA for making that happen. Let's get down to predicting Turning Point, of show that is going to be airing in just a few short hours' time. The pre-show match in this will feature Xia Brookside versus Savannah Evans. And to be quite honest, I feel that this is going the way of Savannah Evans. She has run roughshod since coming back. She has opened up, you know, Li Ying Li. She's targeted Li Ying Yi, shall we say, over the last few weeks. So Savannah Evans, although Xia Brookside isn't going to go take this match lying down, she's going to go for it. But my gut would say Savannah Evans will pick up the victory in the pre-show match, and she will continue perhaps to go on to Li Ying Li, who, funnily enough, has officially signed a proper contract with TNA. Again, she was on another per appearance deal up until this past week. So another immense signing for TNA in Li Ying Li. And I'm looking forward to seeing her in 2025. And probably Savannah Evans will be first on her radar. But I think Savannah Evans will pick up the victory over Xia Brookside tonight at Turning Point. We've also got the Hardys and Ace Austin against the Rascals and Kushida. Now they helped the Hardys and Ace Austin a couple of weeks ago, even up the odds against the system. So in this match, though, I can't look past the Hardys and Ace Austin. They didn't get the job done last week. And it wasn't against the system. It was against Hammerstone, Jake something as well. So I think the Hardys will pick up the victory in this one. It's probably due. Ace Austin's a great partner. I know he gets painted up with the Hardys as well. So I really think that one should be very exciting, that match as well, with these 6 guys that will just leave it all in the ring. But for me, the Hardys win with Ace Austin. They'll pick up the victory there. Now, Mike Santana and Kazarian, now they've been on a collision course on this. Mike Santana, you know, clearing out the system, and he's now got his sights set on the TNA Heavyweight Championship. Well, so is Frankie Kazarian. Frankie Kazarian owns the call your shot opportunity to take on the champion at any time. And for me in this one, I don't know. I'm going to go, as much as I love Santana, and I really, really do, I'm going to go for Kazarian. I think he steals one here on this. He will. When will he cash in that championship opportunity? I don't know. I just think he'll find a way of getting the edge over Santana in this one. So for me, Frankie Kazarian picks up the victory in this match tonight, shall we say? Turkey Bowl match. Joe Hendry versus Eric Young versus Hammerstone versus PCO versus Brian Myers versus John Skyler. Joe Hendry will win that match, and I'm torn between Myers and Skyler to who picks up the Turkey Bowl outfit. And I've said it from day one, and I'm going to say it again. Myers, you're going to be the turkey Thanksgiving. You're the man that's going to be dressed in that turkey outfit come the end of that. But Joe Hendry will certainly pick up the victory for me in this one. Then we have the no DQ match, Josh Alexander, Steve Macklin. That's going to be a hard hitting. Oh, that is probably going to steal the show, to be quite well. That's difficult. Is it going to steal the show with some of these matches on the card? I never know. For me, I think Macklin is overdue one in this. He's been beaten the hell out of recently by Alexander and the Northern Armory. So for me, Macklin gets the job done on this occasion, but it will be a war. Trust me on that one. It will be a war. TNA X Division Championship, Moose and Laredo Kid. Unfortunately, Laredo Kid, I can't look past Moose on this occasion. I think Moose has this match. It's his first or second defense of the X Division Championship. Definitely first on a pay-per-view type show. For me, Moose retained on this. And interesting though, they did air a video on TNA. John Layfield entered the Systems locker room recently. Now, we don't know what happened with the conversation on that, but that is telling on its own. And that will be interesting to see what happens with that one. But for me, Moose will beat Laredo Kid. And without being disrespectful to Laredo Kid, I don't think Moose will break much of a sweat on that one. Knockouts Championship, 2 out of 3 falls, Slamovich and Jordynne Grace. Every time they've got in the ring, they have knocked it out the park, out the stadium, out the car park, down the road in what would have been a great, great encounter. For me, Masha Slamovich wins 2-1. I think Jordynne Grace gets the first fall and Slamovich picks up the next 2 to retain. I don't see Slamovich dropping that quickly. Plus, with the uncertainty with Jordynne Grace's contractual situation, I feel as if Masha Slamovich will have this one in the bag, so to speak. Now we move to the main event. Nick Nemeth, Eddie Edwards. Now we've just mentioned John Layfield has gone into the Systems locker room. What was he doing there? Recently, he has helped Nick Nemeth. He has clotheslined nearly everyone in the vicinity of an arena. So for me, that plays a bit of interest on this. Why did he go into the Systems locker room? Did he go in there and say that he wasn't going to get involved? Did he go in there to warn them that if the system do get involved, I'm going to clothesline your heads off? We don't know. That's the key bit for me. I think Nick Nemeth retains, and we've had Eddie Edwards on the show quite recently. Go check that out, actually, the Eddie Edwards interview. 24,000 of you have gone, and what on earth? Are you guys bored? 24,000 of you checked out the video of myself and Eddie Edwards. But for me, Nick Nemeth retains the title here. I don't see Eddie Edwards getting the victory and becoming the 3rd time TNA champion. Not on this time anyway. But guys, download the TNA Plus app. Get subscribed. Watch Turning Point tonight. Watch TNA Impact every single week. Go to the vault and watch your favorites like AJ Styles and Abyss, Christopher Daniels and Samoa Joe. Do whatever you need to do, but make sure you download the TNA Plus app and get subscribing. And like I say, you're going to be $9.99 better off very, very soon. What better way to spend it than on the TNA Plus app? And check us out at HTT Buckle on X, HTT Buckle on YouTube, Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast on all social media platforms. We'll be back early tomorrow morning for the Turning Point review, and I want to see you there with me. And until then, everybody, let's cross the line with TNA and stay safe.